So one day, I opened my eyes, and beside me was Dr. Linda. She's this prim and proper lady without a single strand of hair out of place. And she said to me, "Wendy, you look better than you really are. If you come in 3 days later, you'll probably be dead." And there I was thinking, wait, I haven't ticked off all the things on my list. I have a workshop in Shanghai next week. Surely death can wait. And then I slumped back. That moment, I was in the intensive care ward with my hair probably looking like Einstein's, in that blue hospital gown, all strapped up to the beeping machines. And then I realized that the life that I know has suddenly become very uncertain. I may not see my children grow up. And in that moment, regrets and the sense of unfinished business just exploded within me. See, that was 7 years ago, and I had been vomiting for 5 days, and my father decided to ward me to the hospital. I was very quickly upgraded from a normal ward to a high dependency ward, and then to the intensive care ward. Believe me, that's not the kind of upgrade you want. So I remember those days as I lay in bed at 5 a.m. in the morning, running my life, being a consultant, mother of 3 young children under the age of 7. Lying in bed at 5 a.m., thinking about the 100 things I need to do. I ding, 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 it's all in my mind. Got it. I jump out of bed, scribble it onto my to-do list. That becomes my Bible for the day. I organize my life in blocks of 15 minutes and I zip around town. And then it's Friday. Do I have a nice long massage? Find a quiet cafe to read? No! I have another list. There's phonics practice with Finn, there is swimming lessons for Pete, and then there's head up to the gym, clock some miles, burn some calories, measure muscle mass. I have lists and lists and lists, and a master list to keep all my lists together. I felt so under control. I loved the efficiency, I loved the adrenaline, I loved the energy. And yet, my energy was fragmenting. My attention was fragmenting. And my life was fragmenting. And I realized that this fragmentation that I experience is perhaps not just me alone. The numbers tell the story beautifully, with 60% of Singapore workers experiencing above average or high levels of stress. Change is faster, workload is heavier, productivity is lower. A manager describes it as being spun around in a washing machine. So thankfully, I was discharged after 11 days in the hospital, just in time to celebrate New Year's Day with my family. And I realized that I can't go back to my old ways. I need to rewrite my rules. I need to find a different way. So unable to run, I went to learn Tai Chi. And so one day, I was just, feeling like the last ounce of energy has dissipated from my body. I went down to the playground. There was a light breeze blowing and the children were playing, laughing and having a good time. And I was just practicing Tai Chi. And in that moment, I felt I was just being, right? Being whole, being calm, being complete. And then I thought about it. Could it be that wholeness, this feeling of completeness, is the opposite of this feeling pulled apart, this fragmentation that I experience? Could it be that wholeness is the alternative to fragmentation? And so I went on a journey to find out what is wholeness, how people stay whole. I looked at the East and West ideas. And every interview I had confronted my way of thinking, my being. I want to share with you what I learned about wholeness and how these ideas can perhaps help us bring the wholeness of who you are as a gift to the world, to your world. So I defined wholeness as a sense of balance and completeness within ourselves and the world around us. So oftentimes, when we think about balance, right, Maggie was talking about, asking you to do that exercise. So when we think about balance, we often think about a weighing scale, right? You have, when one goes up, the other one must come down. If you want to focus on your career, then your family must take a back seat. So my husband tells my daughter, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And I tell my daughter, what good is a cake if you can't eat it? So thankfully, my daughter is smarter. So we also think about balance as this 50-50 compromise. Who wants a bit of family and a bit of career? Anybody? Right, now let me ask you a different question. Who wants 100 of family and 100 of career? Yes? Yes, we want 100 and 100. So the question is how? So can I invite all of you to press your hands against your chest, 50-50 with equal force. How does it feel? Tense, tired, right? And no outcome. That's 50-50 compromise. You try to do everything, but you feel this tension and there's not the outcome that you want. Now, let me invite you to let it go across 100 to one side and 100 to the other side, and let it flow across. How does this feel now? Lighter, right? And there's flow, and there's this movement, right? This is a principle that I learned from Tai Chi. What does this mean? Right? So as I thought about it, right now, I'm totally with you, 100%, focusing on my career, focusing on sharing this message. And tonight, I will be 100% with my boys and Sophie, and I'll be telling them what the day is and asking them about their day, 100% with them. So this 100%, 100 over time is a new way that I want to share with you that is dynamic balance. That balance is not a scale or a 50-50 compromise, but balance is dynamic, 100 over time. Because when we do 100 over time, what it creates is something bigger, larger, and more life-sustaining. Right? That's our whole life. So as a psychologist, I love to do experiments. I once wished that I would have twins so that I could do more experiments. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So the experiments will be on you. So I want to invite you, all of you, to take a deep breath in, bring in the oxygen in your body, and expel the carbon dioxide. Can you do that? Yes? Anyone doubtful? Right, so all of you can do that. Now, round 2. I want you to breathe in and out at the same time. Now, can you do that? No, we can't do that. Right? Just like we can't focus on our family and career at the same time. It's 100 and 100 over time. Now, round 3. I want you to breathe in and out. 2 more times. Breathe in and out. In and out. What do you notice? A sense of calm, sense of energy, right? And that's, so when we breathe in and out, there is something, the larger wholeness that is created from these opposites. That's the sense of calm, the sense of energy, the sense of relaxation. And so what what I realized is we can't be in one loop only. I can't just focus on family. I can't just focus on my career. I need to embrace both opposites. And so this 100-100 over time then creates the larger wholeness. So a leader asked me, what does this abstract philosophical idea mean in real work? Right, so I asked her, now let me ask you as well. Raise your hands if you think you take charge. You tend to take charge more. Good. Raise your hands if you think you tend to take care more. Now, raise your hands if you do both, take care and take charge. Right, great. So, when I asked Sam, she says, I take charge. Of course I have to take charge. I have to take charge of the results, take charge of the people, take charge of the direction. And so I asked her, how is it coming along? She says, okay, people are doing their work, they are responsible, but I wish they could be more passionate and more engaged in their work. And so she sees this loop, right? And she realizes that she needs to take care of her people more. So now in her one-on-one sessions, she pauses, she looks at them in the eye, she smiles, right? She asks about their aspirations, their needs, and right, she coaches them. So there was a young staff. She thought, how come Sam is she being authentic? Is she being a bit schizo? Like one moment she's a dragon lady, another moment she's like the kindest boss. Yeah. And so this young staff had the nerve to ask Sam, right? And Sam looks at her and says, in the strategy meeting, I take charge. In these one-on-one meetings, I take care. Right? And the coming together of taking care and taking charge, it might seem like opposites, but the coming together of these opposites makes us a whole leader. Right? Because if we can take charge and take care of ourselves, right? Take charge and take care of our team, take charge and take care of our family, right? Or take charge, take care of our community, right? Then our impact as a whole leader increases, right? And we can bring the wholeness of who we are, creates the wholeness in the world around. So 7 years on, now when I meet with a challenge, when I feel very frustrated and I feel like the world is on my shoulders, I go for a long jog. And in those moments, I bring myself back to the ICU bed, to the Einstein woman in blue. And I ask, what is the opposite I need to embrace? It could be taking more risk, it could be going slow, it could be allowing myself to get lost, it could be taking charge. And as the answers come, I realize that I'm constantly rewriting my own rules as I journey on this expanding wholeness. So rather than choose a false compromise, right, or a 50-50, think of balance as 100-100 over time. So I want to leave you with this question as well, in the hope that you will find your own wholeness in your life. Thank you.